Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. So this is another important topic in AWS Cloud series, AWS instance types. So there are multiple instances types here. You can check here, general purpose, then the compute optimized, then the memory optimized, accelerated computing, storage optimized, and the HPA, high performance computing. Don't worry, I'll explain the difference between them in the later part of video. Till then, let me show you what I'm trying to say. Okay, go here in the AWS Cloud, click on launch instances. Scroll down, there is one option. If you see here, see instance types. If you click on this compare instance types, if you see here, there are 609 plus instances types are available. These are the instances types. This is the T2 series, then this is the A1 series, C4 series, C5. So like that, there are 609 plus instances types are there. Then how would you know which instance type we should choose here while creating EC2 instances? Suppose there is one requirement in your company and your application requires high storage or high CPU configuration. Then which family or which instance type do we need to select here? So I got this interview question in multiple interviews. Like explain me the AWS instance type and what is the difference between general purpose, compute optimized memory, accelerated storage and HPA instance types, or like scenario based questions as well. Like they can give you one scenario, like suppose I want the application or I want to run one application and that application requires high CPU or high CPU configurations, then which family or which EC2 instance types I should select here? Or in your current project, which EC2 instance types you guys are using? And what is the virtual CPU and the memory and the storage of that instance type? So this kind of questions, this kind of interview questions you will get in your AWS interviews or DevOps interviews. Then what is the answer for this interview question, or how can you answer this question? So there are different types, as I said: general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, accelerated computing, storage optimized, and high performance computing. Let me give you one high level use cases of this instance type. General purpose, suppose if you want one application or if you want to create instances for the normal use cases, then you can go with general purpose. There are T2 nano, T2 micro, T2 small, medium, T2 large, T2x large, and T2 2x large. So this kind of instances types are available in this family, general purpose. Then the compute optimized. Suppose your application or your instance require high CPU configuration, then you can go with compute optimized. Suppose your application requires high memory, then you can go with memory optimized. Then this accelerated computing. If your application requires graphics cards, then you can choose this family, accelerated computing. Then the storage optimized. High level storage comes under storage optimized. Then the HPC, high performance computing. If you want high performance, then you can go with HPC. Okay, let me give you the brief differentiation between these instance types. Okay, let me go here. See, there is one option, get advice, right? So this is the advice from AWS. You can click on this advice, get advice option. So there is a filter criteria, like upon your workload type, then the use cases, priority, CPU manufacturer, then the advanced parameters are there like memory, instance storage. You can select your workload type here. Suppose I want instance which required Kubernetes. Okay, you can check here data warehouse, deep learning, Hadoop, Kubernetes is there, right? I can go with this Kubernetes. Then my use cases is application hosting. Okay, there are other use cases as well. You can check gaming, high performance, then the CDN, e-commerce. Let me go with application hosting. Then the priority, then the price performance or high performance, low cost, no preferences. Let me select this one, high performance. Then the CPU manufacturer, let me go with AMD. Okay, and this option you can skip or you can select memory or any criteria, filter criteria you can choose here. Okay, let me go with this default option and click on get instance type advice. See, this is the advice I got from AWS. Suppose as I selected, right, Kubernetes as a workload, then the application hosting, high performance, I got one instance type advice from AWS that you can go with M6A or 6CA instance families. Okay, like that you can select your filter criteria and you can get advice from AWS. Okay, let me go here and show you. See, there are AWS instance types. As I said here, AWS instance type, there are 6 instance types. Okay, let me scroll down. See, these are the 6 instance categories or 6 instance types, families: general was, then the compute optimized, memory optimized, accelerated computing, storage optimized, and the HPC, high performance computing. Let me click on this general purpose. See, as I said, general purpose instance provide the balance of compute memory and network resources. As I said you earlier, right, normal use cases. Suppose your application or your, if you want to deploy or if you want to create instances for normal use cases, then you can go with general purpose. Many workloads, then these instances are good for applications such as web servers, then the code repositories, small to medium databases. Then what type of instance types comes under general purpose family? So there are different instance types are there. See, MG8 family is there, M family, M instance types comes under this general purpose. Okay, M8, M8i, you can check here. You get CPU here, then the virtual CPUs, memory here, then the instance storage, then the network bandwidth. You can check here. See, let me go with the T2 family. M7 family is there. Okay, M7i, M7a. Let me scroll down. M6, M7, M5. Okay, T2, T4G, then the T3 is there, right? T3A is also there. Then the T2 family is also there. See, T2 nano, T2 micro. So you can check here, right? T2 micro, T2 small. So all these instances types comes under general purpose. Here you'll get one virtual CPU and the 1 GB of memory. You can check here T2 small, T2 medium, T2 large, T2 X large. Here we are getting 4 virtual CPUs and the 16 GB of memory. Memory means RAM. Okay, if you scroll down, T3 family is also there, as I show you here, right? T3, T2, T4 family is also there. So in this category, we are getting this kind of configurations. Then the next one is compute optimized. As I said you, if your application requires high level of CPU, then you can select this compute optimized. Let me show you. See, high performance processors, or you can read here, compute optimized instances are ideal for compute bound applications that benefit from high performance processors. Some examples are like workloads for compute services, batch processing, media, transcoding, then the dedicated game servers. If I scroll down or if I show you, see, all C family comes under compute optimized. Like you can check here how much virtual CPUs you are getting here. See, 192, right? 192 virtual CPUs you are getting here. Then the memory also you can check here. Okay, suppose let me go with this one. 192 of virtual CPUs, 384 of memory I am getting here, right? If I scroll down, then the C8 Gen family is also there. 192 virtual CPUs are there. Then the C, in the C8 I am getting 384 virtual CPUs. 384, right? If I scroll down, then the C8, C7 family is also there. Then you can read out all the instances types here. Okay, what I am trying to say, if your application required high CPU configurations, then you can go with compute optimized. Then the next one is memory optimized. If your application requires high level of RAM, then you can go with memory optimized. In this category, there are R5, then the R4, R5A, this kind of EC2 instances are there. Let me show you. Compute optimized, let me close this tab. See, if your application requires fast performance for workloads that process large data sets in memory. For example, these instances are good for memory database, in memory database. Then the data analytics and the enterprise application. Let me show you the instance types in this category. So there is R family, R8G. You can check the memory here. See, 256, 384 GB of memory you are getting. See, 1536 of GB memory you are getting here. Okay, 256, 1536, R8 family, then the R8i, then the R5 family is also there. If you scroll down, R7. So all these families based on costing. Okay, if you select 8 GB, then cost will be less. If you select suppose 384 GB of memory, then cost is high as compared to 8 GB, right? If you scroll down, see 512 GB of RAM, R6 family, like that. R5 family is also there. See R5, in the R5 there is, like you can check here, 768 GB of RAM you are getting here, right? So this is based on pricing. Then the next one is accelerated computing. So as I said, in the accelerated computing you are getting instances with the graphics card. So let me show you. Say accelerated computing. So accelerated computing instances use hardware accelerators or coprocessors to perform functions more efficiently. For example, you can check number point, floating point number calculations, then the graphics processing, as I said, right? Then the data pattern matching. If I show you the instance types, P6E instances, you can check the GPUs, like what kind of GPUs you are getting here. 4, right? Then the ultra servers 3672 GPUs you are getting. Then the 8 in the P6 you are getting 8 GPUs. Then the P4 family is also there. Then the G6E family is also there. So like that you are getting this kind of GPUs in this family. So again, this is based on pricing and this is based on your requirement. Then the next one is storage optimized. As I said, in this category there are, suppose your application requires high level of storage, then you can go with storage optimized family. If I show you, say storage optimized instances deliver millions of low latency random input out of operations per seconds to your application. If you scroll down and you can check the instance, i8G families comes under the storage. You can check the storage here, like what kind of storage you are getting here. 22,500 GB of storage you are getting in this category. Then the i8, like 1,20,000 GB of storage you are getting here, right? 1,20,000 GB. Again, this is based on your requirement and this comes under the costing, like this is responsible for your costing, AWS costing, right? Scroll down, see this kind of storage you are getting and this kind of family. If you can see here i4, then the IM4GN. So all I series comes under storage optimized. Then the, if you can scroll down, D3 is also there. Okay, so this comes under HDD, okay, hard disk drive. Then the D3 eGen HDD. Nowadays companies are using SSD over HDD. Like no one uses SSD nowadays because of speed. Okay, if you scroll down, D2 is also there, HDD hard disk drive. So many companies are prepared to choose solid state drive, okay, instead of hard disk drive. Then the next one is, and the last one is HPC, high performance computing. Okay, let me show you the instance types here. If your application or if your instance required high performance computing, offers the best price performance for running HPC workloads such as complex simulations, deep learning, visual effects, rendering. If I can show you the instance types, HPC 7G. Okay, you can check the physical cores here, 16, 32, 64 physical cores I am getting here, right? Then the all EH family, HPC family comes under HPC, okay, high performance computing. Then the 64 cores I am getting here. You can check the memory, corresponding memory and the storage here, SSD, as I said, right? Then the scroll down, see all these instance types comes under HPC. So this is the important topic for your AWS or DevOps interviews, like how would you select the instance type, and I hope you got the answer. Bye bye.